Meanwhile, in the NBA, we got our first look at Karl-Anthony Towns in a New York Knicks uniform. He was getting shots up at the team's practice facility. You can see him right there. The trade, which sent Cat to the Knicks, Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo to the Minnesota Timberwolves, it was finalized on Wednesday afternoon.
Newly acquired New York Knicks star center Karl-Anthony Towns thrived in his home preseason debut at Madison Square Garden. Afterward, he thanked Knicks fans for their warm welcome and expressed excitement for the 2024 to 2025 NBA regular season.
I mean, we're just going to continue to work hard every single day, never take one practice for granted, and just try to every night go out there and be the best version of ourselves.
Towns, who New York officially acquired from the Minnesota Timberwolves earlier this month, made his road preseason debut on Sunday against the Charlotte Hornets. He and the rest of the Knicks starters played sparingly in their team's 111 to 109 victory, resting the entire second half. Let's see Towns' performance.
But he got leaky. Towns! Oh my goodness. I guess we've seen that before. Well. Towns. Oh my goodness.
However, Towns received extended playing time on Wednesday at MSG, with the four-time All-Star showcasing his offensive prowess. Towns tallied a game-high 25 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks in 28 minutes as New York trounced the Washington Wizards 117-94. Let's see what Monica McNutt said.
Oh, Cat. The attempted three-pointers in his Knicks preseason debut, that's more than Isaiah Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson put up all last year in the regular season. Granted, they're two different players, but it's important that you know that. And as the self-proclaimed greatest shooting big man in NBA history, what could it mean for the Knicks this season? Well, I think we already started to see the impact in just the first preseason game. All right, so let's go into some tape because, you know, we want to take a look at some things. It's so important here that we look at the spacing that Karl-Anthony Towns creates. I'm gonna pause this on the catch because you got OG Anunoby in this corner you can't see off screen, but immediately your eye is drawn to all of this activity. This particular play, Cat is gonna go to the rim, but if the ball is to swing and there's to be action, you're gonna drag all the defense and it's gonna create more lanes, in particular for Jalen Brunson, who we know is so unselfish and will find his teammates. This was that attack. So much room for activities, y'all, just courtesy of what Karl-Anthony Towns brings to the table.
Analysis of the game footage reveals the immediate impact Towns has on the Knicks' spacing. His presence on the court draws defenders away from the paint, creating more lanes for drives and cuts. This was particularly evident in plays involving Jalen Brunson, who now has more room to operate and find open teammates. Following his sensational home debut, Towns, who hails from New Jersey, touched on the emotions running through his mind. Towns said, "Man, the fans have been great. It definitely hits different to be home. It's been a blessing to be here, and I'm excited for all the games I get to play in front of these fans." With the win, New York improved to 2-0 in the preseason, with 3 more contests remaining. With its off-season additions of Towns and star wing Mikal Bridges, the Jalen Brunson-led franchise appears poised to take another step in the Eastern Conference. Let's see what David Dennis said.
What we saw here, they're going to accumulate a lot of wins, basically because of what Karl-Anthony Towns does offensively. It takes a little bit of load off of Jalen Brunson. And what I was most impressed with was what you showed there, that interior passing, him on the post, getting the ball to open players, a lot of that off-ball movement on their first game. When they do that in the regular season, they're really going to be humming. My concern here with the Knicks, though, is playoff Karl-Anthony Towns. Which guy is going to show up? Tangibles, statistically, all that stuff, they look great. But when it comes playoffs, he's had a history of some bad performances. He only shot 24% from 3 against Dallas last year. We know a few years ago what happened with them in Memphis, where they blew all those leads, and a lot of that was on Karl-Anthony Towns. That is going to be the thing that I would like to see for him, improvement-wise, come playoff time when it comes for them making deep.
However, concerns remain about Towns' playoff performance. His shooting percentages have dipped in previous postseasons, and the Knicks will need him to overcome those struggles to make a deep playoff run. Last season, the Knicks placed second in the East, 50-32, coming within 1 win of their first conference finals appearance since 2000. Knicks star point guard Jalen Brunson was another standout on Wednesday, tallying 23 points on 70.0% shooting across 23 minutes. During Karl-Anthony Towns' post-game interview, he was asked about his and Brunson's two-man game potential. Let's see what Kendrick Perkins said.
Take on the West. Now Kawhi's hurt again. Paul George isn't there. Russell Westbrook is not there, for better or worse. And now you have Harden, who's ball handling again, trying to figure things out in this next season.
So close, but so far away. 9 months ago. All right, Dallas Mavs, y'all. Luka, full court shot.
Heave.
Yeah.
According to Perkins, Town and Brunson are focused on doing whatever it takes to lead New York to success. Towns said, "We work hard every single day to make sure that it looks the best for these fans. So we just want to translate it to winning, and we're doing a great job of doing that." Let's see what Jalen Brunson said.
But he just wants to win.
Can I ask you about Cat now, or are you still going to wait?
You can ask me. Maybe I'll answer. Maybe I won't.
Have you thought about the pick and roll with him and what that might look like?
Yeah, I've thought about it. He's obviously a tremendous player, been in the league for 10 years now. Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, he's going to be a great piece once he gets here and everything, and we'll go from there.
While the Knicks had an elite defense last season, they sometimes struggled to generate consistent offense outside of Brunson. That proved to be their downfall in the playoffs, with the banged-up squad suffering a 4-3 second-round playoff loss to the Indiana Pacers. So Towns' addition should alleviate offensive pressure on Brunson while providing New York with increased front-court spacing. Over 62 games with Minnesota last season, Towns averaged 21.8 points, 8.3 rebounds, 3.0 assists, 0.7 blocks, and 2.2 three-pointers per game, shooting 50.4%. Karl-Anthony Towns joining the Knicks is a big deal. He's a great shooter for a big man, which helps the team's offense. His skill at scoring from different spots on the court will make it easier for other players, like Jalen Brunson, to do well too. Towns has been an all-star 4 times, so he brings experience to the team. Since he's from nearby New Jersey, fans are excited to see him play at Madison Square Garden. If Towns can play as well in the playoffs as he does in the regular season, he might be just what the Knicks need to become real competitors for the championship. It seems like Karl-Anthony Towns might have finally accepted his reality. Karl seems happy in Knicks practice time. However, Cat's situation was different. 9 years with Minnesota, and one fine morning, the 28-year-old is on his way to NYC. It's only natural to be stumped, but not anymore. After the trade, Cat followed the Knicks' official X page more than 10 days later, which caught attention. Thankfully, Twitter has a page called NBA Alerts that tracks things like this. Let's see what NBA Alerts tweeted. Let's see what Brian Windhorst said.
When Towns is out of there and the lane is open, Jalen Brunson, when he goes to back down, we know that he likes to get into his perk mode, big body Brunson it. When that happens, he now is going to have the lane behind him. One of the things that happened with Dante DiVincenzo, he really learned angles. And the reason he needed angles was because they could play with an extra body on Brunson. They could bring the double team. How are you going to bring a double team on Brunson when you get Anunoby, Bridges, and Towns out there at the same time? You can't. So when I watched this Knicks offense yesterday, I walked away going, this could be the #1 offense in the league. It really could be if they stay healthy and they gel.
As exciting as the offensive potential is, the Knicks will need to focus on integrating Towns into their defensive scheme. Head coach Tom Thibodeau is known for his defensive emphasis, and it will take time for Towns to fully acclimate to the system. Interestingly enough, this happened right before Towns made his Knicks debut. New York Basketball tweeted the exciting moment with the caption, "A group of kids in colorful uniforms formed a tunnel-like formation and while doing a welcome gesture, inaugurated the Hooper in New York folklore." Talking to the media for the first time as a Knick, Karl-Anthony Towns was candid about his reaction to the 3-team trade that landed him at the Big Apple. Let's see what Karl said.
I'm tremendously thankful for the opportunity to play basketball there, and I'm excited to be playing here, and I can't wait to start.
What was your reaction when you heard the news you were coming to New York?
Shocked. Shocked. More the word flabbergasted would be more correct, but just shocked.
The 4X All-Star admitted, while it's true that the Wolves had a hard time getting something of a long-term success, given the frequent personnel changes, coaching staff, and the struggle to build a competitive roster, Cat has attained quite the recognition as an individual player. Let's see Karl performance as Knick.
They be better, yes, but when they actually were healthy on the court together, which they were not in the playoffs, they did very, very well. This was not a failed pairing. It was one that didn't have the full season to gel.
I'm glad you got around to an answer because I wasn't sure where you were going yet there with that. All right, David, James Harden, your boy, 13 points and 8 assists against the Warriors on Saturday. Harden did say on media day that the Clippers team would have a whole lot of him. D. Dennis, what does that mean? A lot of Harden for the Clippers.
A lot of Harden, that means a lot of ball stopping. That means that he's going to have the ball. It's going to be the West Coast Rockets. Think about where the Clippers were about 9 months ago, where they looked like they were the hottest team in the league. Kawhi was playing, Paul George was playing. It looked like they could really take on the West. Now Kawhi's hurt again. Paul George isn't there. Russell Westbrook.
Let's see what Jalen Brunson said.
Yeah, he just wants to win. He's had that mindset since the day I met him. The only thing that's changed is how better he's learning to play. He's still the same person, still works really hard, and just a better person than he was when we first came together. So he's going to continue to grow.
Was there a moment, I guess, today where it kind of felt like you guys were kind of back and going over the three guys practicing together?
No, because usually Coach Wright was MFing us at some point. No, I don't feel like it. No, not today, maybe tomorrow.
Just as a friend of his, do you see, you guys used to joke about him longing to get, to New York, to see him get out of Brooklyn, a tough situation, where it was a losing situation, and be a part of this. Do you see that in him, the kind of the excitement?
I mean, it's always new and exciting to go somewhere new, regardless of the situation or whatever. It may not have been a winning situation over there, but I saw him grow as a player. I think that's his most important individually. He was growing, and he was expanding his game and showing everyone what we can do. And yeah, I mean, his mindset doesn't change, and regardless of what situation he's in, but he just wants to win.
Can I ask?
The 2015 #1 pick won the Arodi Award, setting and breaking many records along the way. But perhaps one of the most notable moments in his time at Minnesota was the 2017-18 postseason. Alongside Jimmy Butler, Karl-Anthony Towns was instrumental in ending the Wolves' 14-year playoff drought as they finished the regular season with an overtime win over the Nuggets, clinching the 8th spot. But he wasn't satisfied with it. In his appearance on the Club Shay Shay podcast 6 days ago, Cat was emotional, as he was being honest. Since the Wolves were founded in 1989 as an expansion team, they have yet to reach an NBA Finals or win a title. And this was one aspect that Towns wanted to be a part of. Let's see what Kat said to Shannon Sharp.
They've been asking for a championship since its inception as a team.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've always said I wanted to bring them a championship. I wanted to be a part of the championship team that finally brings that ring and that parade down to First Ave.
It's bittersweet to hear Cat's heartfelt commitment to Minnesota while knowing he's now with the Knicks, leaving fans wondering if his championship dreams will ever come to fruition for the Timberwolves. Last season saw Minnesota get close, but ultimately lost to the Dallas Mavericks in the conference finals. Although Towns won't be a part of a championship Wolves team, there is no doubt that he will be just as thrilled and over the moon as his former team when Anthony Edwards and co. to finally get their first title, don't you think? A positive that comes with Cat's move is that he already knows the boss, Tom Thibodeau. They spent 2 years in Minnesota, and this familiarity would likely help Towns settle in faster. I think it gives us a little bit of a head start, the Hooper himself admitted.
From Miller. Karl-Anthony